What do you feel like doing?
Let's watch TV.
Okay.
Eddie, I have a confession to make.
What is it, Captain?
Do you remember the last day in the Philippines, in the fire, when you got shot in the leg?
Yeah?
That was me. I was the one that shot you.
Why? You of all people, you took my life, you took my leg, and I was never able to walk the same again.
It wasn't your turn to die yet. We would have lost you in the fire.
Eddie, calm down. The captain risked his life for you. If he hadn't gotten out to inspect the land, all 4 of you soldiers would have driven over the landmine and gotten killed. You must realize that lives are sacrificed to save others.
More than 1 billion people live on less than $1 a day. These children and families are all too familiar with poverty and the inability to afford food and proper health care. Some of their poor medical conditions have robbed them of hope and threatened to steal their future. For just 80 cents a day, you can give children like Tala the chance to escape these horrible circumstances and to get rid of all her burn marks.
You can help every children be safer because every life has a purpose.
So call right now. Operators are standing by. And now for our next caller, Eddie from Ruby Pier. It's actually named after me by my husband, Emil.
First and foremost, I would just like to tell you how much my wife and I love your show. Lately though, we've been having some marital issues. It's probably mostly my fault. Ever since my father died, I haven't been feeling myself lately. Prior to his death, he didn't speak to me. He destroyed me with silence. He really affected the way that I feel about relationships, and it has crossed over to my marriage. What can I do?
Eddie, you must forgive your father. Maybe there is something about him that you don't know. Holding anger is a poison. It eats you from the inside. We think that hating is a weapon that attacks the person that harms us. But hatred is a curved blade, and the harm that we do to ourselves. It's important that you let go of your anger and forgive. Once you can learn how to forgive, your relationship with your wife will also be strengthened. When we hear about someone dying in a car crash, it's easy to assume that he or she died from the injuries. But in the morgue, any autopsies of car crash victims have a multi-layered mystery to be solved. Today's case is extra intriguing. The victim in this case is blue. No, literally, his skin is blue. At first, we thought the sole reason for his wreck was a heart attack, due to the silver nitrate that he took, that both weakened his heart and turned his skin blue. However, after questioning eyewitnesses, we came across some interesting information.
One rainy afternoon, I decided to walk my dog. I turned my head to see a little boy run across the street just as a car was coming. The car swerved out of the way, everything seemed to be alright, until he almost collided with another car. Then, he drove his Model A into a back alley. I guess that's where he got into the accident. If it wasn't for that boy's irresponsibility, then the man would not have gotten into the accident. I guess what we can all learn from this is that there are no random acts in life, and that we all intertwine in some way.
I've waited for this day my entire life! You're late! Get up here now! I'm the bride. I should be number 1. Stupid, pay attention! My name better be perfect. I don't know what your hair looks like that. If it rains on my wedding day, I swear I'm gonna kill someone! I want children! Is this a thing someone needs to mess with?
I don't know how I put up with this. I guess it's because I love her. She's the one thing that makes me happy, and I would feel empty without her. I guess it's just the power of love. Today we have a very special guest on the show, American best-selling author, journalist, screenwriter, playwright, radio and television broadcaster, and musician Mitch Albom. Tell us how you got into writing.
Funny story. I actually started out wanting to be a musician, and I played in a number of bands. I moved to New York to pursue a music career, but I somehow ended up finding an interest in journalism and writing the sports column for the Detroit Free Press. I later moved on to Detroit radio sports broadcasts, and of course, writing novels.
We know all about that. You have had huge success with your most recent novel, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. It is the best-selling hardcover first-time novel ever, selling over 10 million copies. What inspired your work?
Well, actually, it was my Uncle Eddie, who, like the character, served in World War II in the Philippines and died when he was 83. When I was a child, Uncle Eddie told me about a time he was rushed to surgery
and had an out-of-this-body, near-death experience. He said he saw from above all his dead relatives waiting for him at the edge of the bed, which inspired my concept of the 5 people you meet in heaven.
Why did you choose 5 people?
I somehow always get this question. There's really not much significance in the number 5. 4 seem too few and 6 seem too many. Sometimes when I've thought about it, it's kind of generational. 20 years is about a generation. And he was 80 years old, so there would be 5 people in it. People have tried to read more significance into this, but it just worked for the story.
What do you think about death?
Well, I have lost a lot of people in my life, and I have realized that loss, love, and finding meaning in your life while you are here are all universal themes that apply to everyone.
Young men go to war sometimes because they have to, sometimes because they want to. I guess I was one of those. They sent me to the Philippines. I didn't know it at the time, but the Philippines were an important target for the Imperial Japanese High Command. The Japanese viewed all the lands of Asia to be the rightful property of the Imperial Japanese government, and realized that in order to dominate the Asian islands, they had to stop the presence of foreign military forces in the Philippines, Hong Kong, Malaysia, and the Dutch East Indies. My troops and I played a large role in holding out longer than any other Allied garrison.
This is so boring.
Yeah, that idea inhaled vehemently.
Fine, let's just read a book then.